Today, we'll have a fun workshop for you. Hopefully it's going to be, probably won't be as fun as last night's Magic Might, but hopefully it'll be quite fun, where you get to learn how to set up and maintain an effective quality management system. And I will teach you the three-piece model, which I have developed over the years of working management system. Now, I don't normally want to say my age, but last night someone told me that I looked like I was in my 20s. I'm not. So I do have a fair bit of experience. The three-piece model, you will learn how to apply that today using a real-life case study. And it is essentially the essence of what I think is an effective management system. All right, so let's get started. Let's talk real basic here. First up, what is quality management system? Now, since this is the first time we're together, and I don't know many of you, I'd like to get a sense of how many people here new to quality. So if you're new to quality, you don't really know what it's about, or perhaps you work in a management system in the past, but now you're in a role where you have to do more hands-on quality work and you're new to this role. If this is you, hands up. So I just want to know how many people here new to quality. Fantastic. Welcome. Welcome to Quality World. There's always something new that you can learn in quality, and today hopefully you can learn a little bit on how to develop and implement a management system. And for many of you who already know a little bit about quality and quality management system, hopefully you can learn something today too to help improve your current system. All right, I want to talk first up with, I want to talk about some of the misconception people have when defining QMS. All right, so when I talk about QMS, a lot of people would say, oh, quality management system is a tool that you use to help you ensure quality of your products and processes, right? It's like a software or it's a quality manual. It's our QMS. So quality management system isn't just a tool. A software is a tool. A software helps you manage your processes. It helps you automate some perhaps tedious tasks, right? But software isn't your QMS. Similarly, your quality manual is a tool. It helps you summarize your processes. It's really useful in an audit because an auditor can see what you have in place, or you can give it to your potential clients, a customer, and they can see what processes you have when it comes to quality and how you can meet their requirements. But it is not your quality management system. It is part of it. And as you can see in the next slide, quality management system isn't just a tool or a document, and it's something much, much more. All right, so now that we've cleared that up, I want to draw an example or comparison from our everyday lives that is hopefully more relatable, especially for those who are new to quality, something that could help illustrate what quality management system is, right? So we talked about what is not. Let's talk about what it actually is. So for me, when I think about quality management system, I think it's a bit like gardening. So who's here loves gardening? Hands up here. Okay, got some avid gardeners here. Now, as you can see, those who have experience in gardening involves quite a lot of different things. I love to garden. I've just recently joined in a community garden, so that's the picture on the left, and on the right is our backyard garden. So that's Maya, my 2-year-olds. We love to garden. We spend time on the weekend just pottering around the garden, watering the plants and so on. So with gardening, there's so many things involved, right? At the beginning, when you're setting up, you have to think of what kind of garden you want to have. Do you want a flower garden? Do you want a herb garden? And then everything from sourcing the seed, right? Raising seedlings, figuring out what irrigation system you have, determining how much sun that patch of grass or soil gets, all those things, right? Quality management system is a bit like that. It's not just about the tools or the materials you use. It's about all the different things, all the core elements working together to give you the desired result, right? Now, let's talk about some definition. So QMS has a formal definition according to ISO, and for those who are new, ISO is International Standard Organization. They make and develop standards, right? So here's the definition according to ISO of quality management system: set of interrelated activities coordinated to direct and control quality within an organization. Set of interrelated activities coordinated to direct and control quality within an organization. And quality also has a formal definition. So according to ISO, quality is the degree that you meet a need or expectation that is stated, generally implied, or obligatory. The degree that you meet a need or expectation that is stated, generally implied, or obligatory. Does this make sense? Does everyone agree? Yeah?
It's legal speak of ISO.
Yeah. Now, these terms and definition are very useful, but sometimes it can be hard to remember. So I would like to offer you a translation that much simpler, that perhaps that you can remember easily, that I believe captures the essence of the two terms. Now here's my translation of QMS. It's all the things you do to meet a need or expectation, right? So it's not just the tools or your materials, not just your documents, it's everything. It's everything you do to meet a need or expectation. So what does it take to set up an effective QMS? First, I think you have to start with the end in mind. What do you want to achieve? What are your goals? What are your objectives? Okay, if you want to obtain ISO accreditation certification, you obviously have to choose which one applies to you, but also your business needs. You've got to start with the end in mind, figure out what are the requirements you need to meet, what you want to achieve. And then you use the 3Ps model, which we'll get to in a second, and one step at a time. So creating an effective quality management system takes time. It's not going to happen in 3 months' time. It's not going to happen in 5 months' time. Just got to remember just to take one step at a time, and you'll get there eventually. Okay. Now let's talk about the 3Ps model. What is it? It is essentially a mental framework or a mental model. It's a way of thinking. It's how you approach creating your management system, developing it and maintaining it and improving it. It is essentially a trifecta of purpose, people, process. Okay. Purpose encompasses your goals, your objectives, your requirements. What do you want to achieve? And people are your leadership, your staff engagement, your training, your staff competency. And then process. Process are your procedures, your controls, your decision-making framework that guide the work. Right? As you can see in the illustration, you can see the interconnectedness of these core elements. Okay, you can see how they dynamically communicate and influence one another. I believe this is the core essence of an effective management system. And it's that simple: purpose, people, process. But simple doesn't mean easy. You gotta remember purpose, people, process at every point in your development, right? And sometimes you forget, right? You perhaps have been in a situation where a process seemingly seems effective. It meets the compliance requirement, but everyone hates it. They don't like using it, feels like a chore. And that's when perhaps you miss the connection between the people and the process. Similarly, you may have a process that people follow, but they don't really know why things are done a certain way. Perhaps you're missing the connection between the purpose, right, and the communication between purpose and people. So you can see how interconnected all these 3Ps are, right? And for you to have an effective management system, you've got to remember these 3 elements. Remember they connect with one another, and they have to harmoniously work together in an iterative manner. Okay? How do we apply the 3Ps? You can start from the beginning of your process. Right at the beginning, when you're developing a system, think of what you want to achieve. Okay? Developing your processes, purpose, people, process. Managing changes. You can apply the 3Ps. What are the requirements? Who do we need to consult with regards to these changes? Okay, what's the process? Solving problems. Purpose, people, process. It is quite versatile. You can use it with any ISO framework of your choosing. You can use it with the 5 whys of your root cause analysis, right? And we don't have a lot of time today, so we're just going to show you how you can apply the 3 Ps for solving problems. Right. So we're going to ask some questions. Naomi will help me with the case study, but here are some of the questions that we will answer today. With regard to the case study, we're going to go through the purpose, what's the requirement, what do we need to achieve, what are the goals and objectives, and the people, who needs to be consulted, who needs to be involved, process, what's the current process, what needs to change, what needs to remain the same, right? So we'll learn how to solve problems using the 3 Ps today. That's it. Naomi's going to talk about common pitfalls, and we'll go straight to the case study.
Thank you, Keren. Look, I think Keren touched on it and she said simple doesn't always mean easy. And so at NATA, we often see the common pitfalls that come out of it not being easy to do. It sounds simple, it's easy when you say it fast, but you know what we find is that the common pitfalls in these fall into a session that we ran yesterday, which I believe was a packed house with Emily Dugar, so I'm going to go over them again, which is really the top 10 non-conformances that we find at NATA assessments. So when we look at the top 10, so the 10th one is method validation and verification, which comes out of your management, quality management. Internal audits, reporting of results, ensuring the validity of results, control of records and documents, technical records, externally provided products and services, personnel procedures and records. Second one, management review inputs, and our number 1 non-conformances that we find is equipment. I love these. Take photos of it. Who saw Emily's session yesterday? I was going to say most people tried to get in. I believe they shut people out. How rude. Closed them out. For those who are interested in this afternoon's sessions in C4 also will talk about the non-conformances, but that's another session. Let's get into this case study. So we have a lot of people in the room, so we're going to manage this well. What I'm going to get you to do is to move into some groups. So I would say kind of anyone who's standing in this area, if you want to move to the front, you can work as a team. We have kind of 2 rows and then 2 rows. So if I split you into 2s or 3s, you're going to be able to manage this. Pick about 15 people and get together. You're very welcome to move the room around, change your chairs around, or if you want to, it's not that long. You can just turn your neck around. Although I don't want any OH&S issues. But find yourself into a little group of people here, and same over with you guys here, back of the room there. If anyone's sitting down and wants to join over here. Again, find yourself a group of about 15 people. Move your chairs around to do this. I'm going to hand over to Keren to talk you through what you're doing. While she does that, I'm going to help you move, and I'm also going to hand you out some documentation for your group. I know it's early and it's kind of one of the first sessions, and you're like, really? Really? Do I have to move my chairs? You can do it. I will help you. But we want to workshop this so that we're not up here just talking at you. This is the time to be able to work together and hear from other people in the room. So, Keren, I'm going to hand that to you. I'm going to get these documents out to people and help them move.
Okay. So for those who doesn't have the sheet, you can have a look at the actual scenario here on the slide. Essentially, this is a deficiency that was found during an audit. Equipment issues were not reported as non-conformances. So the lab has equipment issues logged in an equipment issue register, but sometimes they don't raise non-conformances when equipment malfunction, causing work to be halted or stopped. Okay, and our goal is to use the 3 Ps model to devise a proposed solution. Okay, so in reality, perhaps you want to use your 5 whys or fishbone diagram, like what you've learned yesterday on determining the root cause, and then you apply the 3 Ps. Just a reminder, this is the 3 Ps model: purpose, people, process, and we're going to look at each of one of these elements to help us determine the proposed action. All right. Show you the questions. Now, in your sheet, you have the relevant section of the applicable standard. You also have the relevant section of the internal documents and an example of their equipment register. What you don't have are the people. So I will represent the people. So if you have any questions, anything you want to clarify with regards to the process, raise your hand and I'll come and answer your question. Remember, purpose, people, process. You need those three elements.
All right, so in your teams, what did you come up with for purpose? Does any one of the teams want to share what they came up with? Compliance to the standard? Ensuring you've got good equipment to use. Excellent. Did you say against the requirements? Made for requirements. Anyone else want to share anything about purpose?
Okay, so obviously we need to meet ISO requirements. So the lab is ISO 17025 certified or accredited, and this is on the requirements they need to meet. Non-conforming work needs to be managed. They need to raise corrective action, and they need to make sure that customer work that are impacted are assessed. Okay. Now, did anyone think about the requirements from the lab, the staff, the managers? No one asked me about the requirements from the team. Okay? This is their requirements. They want to keep the equipment issue together. They want to maintain their register. They don't want to flood the non-conformance record or register with equipment issues. It's working for them now. Service technician uses it to see the history. You've got to remember the people element, okay, of your management system. Let's talk about the people.
The lab manager? Technician. I heard technician a couple of, that was like in stereo. Technician.
Yes, service technician, external people. Yeah. Lab technician. Yep.
External suppliers.
Yep.
So that was external suppliers.
Everyone in the lab uses the instrument, correct? All right, so this is what we've got. You all got it. Lab technician, service technician, okay. Lab management, quality team. Okay, think of your people.
Last but not least, the process. What did you have for process?
Is everyone clear on the process? They have to make sure they follow the procedure. They need to document or record that they follow the procedure. Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah. Should figure out what needs to. Yeah. There's no connection between the non-conformance process and the equipment issue. Yeah. Management. CAPAs. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. You have to review the process for any. Yeah. Yeah. So you're talking about what needs to change. What needs to stay the same. All right. So this is the current process that we have found when discussing it with the staff. So everybody write equipment in the issue register, and yes, management of equipment issues not linked to non-conformance procedure, and staff treat equipment errors differently to non-conforming work. So again, the link is missing. The other thing that they find helpful and want to remain is the equipment register itself. They find it really useful, and they want it to continue to use it, right? The other thing that we discovered is that non-conformance procedure is actually working well when it comes to other non-conformances. Okay, so that needs to stay the same, and staff are engaged in the process. They raise non-conformances when it comes to other issues, but just not equipment. Okay, Proposed action. We had some proposed actions already. Just want to get some more input in terms of what you think the lab should do. Yeah. So in the procedure, it says that you should inform the staff who needs to resolve the problems with the equipment, but not the manager who may need to raise a non-conformance. Yeah. 3 minutes. That's great. So pretty much got most of it. I go back. Right. Okay, so the lab decide that they want to update the register to meet the requirements, essentially creating a new column to make sure that there's a link, right, between equipment register and the non-conformance process. You guys got it. Okay, so purpose, people, process. Just a quick one, maintaining your QMS. 3 Ps, rinse and repeat. Manage your changes well. Again, you can use the 3 Ps for that. Data monitoring and trending. Use the 3 Ps, purpose, people, process. And that's it, guys. So just remember, start with the end in mind. Think of the 3 Ps, your purpose, your people, and process. Make sure you have full understanding of those elements. Make sure they communicate to one another. Remember, quality management system isn't just a tool. It's not just a tool you use or your documentation. It's everything you do to meet a need or expectation. Yeah? It's a bit like gardening. Remember that, and hopefully you have an effective management system that everyone will love. Thank you.